Okay, so with the rise of the Cross Guild, we know now that pirates aren't the only ones at risk in the open seas. Marines are too. Every arc, especially post-Wano, there's a point of contention about the new bounties, and this chapter definitely did not fail to deliver. We got bounties for all the Straw Hats, but also new bounties for Mihawk, Crocodile, and especially Buggy, our favorite pirate king. Pleasant surprises all around. But usually, towards the end of an arc, the fandom comes together to theorize and get hyped for the new bounties, but this one's been a twist, right? Because after 1058, the question was raised, what do you think the Admiral bounties would look like? Well, you don't gotta worry. This is a rhetorical question. So we're gonna talk about it. So we're gonna start from the lowest to highest. Today we're covering the Admirals. Maybe the next day we may cover some more Marines, Smoker, Kobe, some of our favorites, right? But today we're starting with the Admirals, and let's start with you hitting that sub button if you enjoyed content like this. It really does help me out a lot and lets me know you enjoyed content like this. So now let's start from lowest to highest. And that's gonna start us with Green Bull. Green Bull is the newest Admiral we've seen, and his greenness, get it, newness kind of serves as a jumping off point. So it's really funny too, because Green Bull kind of carries himself like a rookie, hot-headed and eager with something to prove, because he stands a Kainu, Kawaii Desune. We've seen that he can definitely take care of a weakened king and queen, and even though he might have pissed himself, he seemed like he was confident in his ability to 1v1 Shanks. Well, not really, but he talked about the entire crew and saying that he can't take on all of them. Now, my money's still on Shanks, but it stands to reason that Green Bull probably has some more juice hidden up his sleeve or coat. Not really sure because he doesn't wear shirts. Maybe it's in his pant leg. Who knows? Getting distracted. Anyways, for the sake of not repeating myself over and over, we can determine that all of the Admirals are pretty damn good with hockey. They almost definitely all have conquers at least some way to combat it, and definitely are proficient with observation armament. Green Bull came up with his own technique to counter his greatest weakness. So let's just baseline that and get it out of the way. Feats. So we've seen that Green Bull can pretty much suck the life out of anyone, okay? Reminds you of your favorite star. So he can get his vines around, and he can also do it to more than one person at once, which is pretty intense. I mean, you don't call that a greensome? I feel like I've seen things wrap around people in other anime, but we're not gonna get into that right now. Anyways, Green Bull was able to utilize fireproof wood while in his Logia form, as well as fly all the way to Wano. And it seems like he carries a black blade, not confirmed, but I would say all in all, Green Bull is definitely someone who has the power of a small army. That being said, I'd wager his bounty is somewhere around 2.75 billion berry. I know Buggy's system is based on stars, but we're assigning numbers to these things, okay, boys? Now, Fujitora, the blind swordsman who drops meteors on people. Off rip, we know his observation hockey is pretty damn good. I mean, the dude doesn't even have the ability to see and is somehow able to pull off near future sight. That being said, Fujitora is a swordsman who's blocked a gear third punch from Luffy without using haki, so I don't even want to think about how strong his sword is actually using haki. That being said, Fujitora's gravity abilities scream menace. He's able to drop full-on meteors, increase somebody's gravity or weight, or however the heck gravity works in One Piece, and even pull and push people and objects to and from him like pain. That being said, we saw him being held back by both Sabo and Zoro. Granted, I think he was maybe taking it a bit easy on them, but regardless, not gonna get stuck up on that. I think Fujitora has the potential of a small to medium army. So based on his abilities and combat prowess, I'm gonna put Fuji at about a 3 billion berry bounty flat. Kizuru. In Sabaody, we saw Kizaru's entrance. One of the best entrances in One Piece. We saw him flying in on a cannon. So I feel like that's a great jumping off point for his strength. We've seen a pretty nice display of Kizaru's abilities. He's able to refract himself, his light, I don't know, Logia stuff. Basically, the dude is able to teleport around. He kicks at the speed of light. He can create a sword, and he's able to create light missiles, bullets. I don't know, man. The science in One Piece is different, but that's why we love it, right? Anyway, Kizaru's abilities seem pretty on point for both offense and defense. That being said, he has a pretty lazy demeanor, so it seems like he has to be spurred into action. But when he is, well, we saw Sabaody. The dude is pretty ruthless. Now, all this being said, Kizaru, kind of like Fujitora, was held back by Rayleigh. Now, we aren't going to slight Ray, because Ray's the GOAT, but Kizaru also maybe perhaps got punked by Ben Beckman. Personally, I think he was trolling, right? Because he went and did it after Ben Beckman was still right there. A couple panels later, he was shooting at Luffy and him. So even with the pretty damn good devil fruit, he realizes his limits for the most part. That being said, Kizaru's power and strength is minimum that of the top tiers in regards to the Yonko. I think he definitely beats all the right-hand men. When we get to Mihawk and guys like that, that's when we have a problem. He's not Pluton, right? But he's definitely strong enough to merit a 3.330 billion berry bounty. Okay, now let's get to Kuzan Aokiji, the coldest mother sucker in the verse. But no, literally during the Paramount War, we saw Aokiji nullify the massive wave created by Whitebeard with his Ice Age attack. Aokiji was introduced riding a bike across the ocean, so dude has stamina for days. I mean, I can barely ride a bike for maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes. The dude was out here riding a bike across the seas. Does that still count as sailing? Anyway, we saw the outcome of Punk Hazard. We know that Aokiji is definitely on a similar playing field as Akainu, and Akainu is supposed to have the most destructive devil fruit power per Oda. But we've also seen that Aokiji is also pretty competent with how he uses his ice abilities as well. He can make actual structures kind of similar to Kizuru, but we've seen him make a sword of ice, spears of ice that he can launch at people, a giant bird, and he can freeze people to the bone, both up close and at a distance. And me personally, I wouldn't take that. But I don't know how you would even capture Aokiji to get his bounty. I mean, I'm definitely not gonna try, but if that dude rides his bike past me, I'm just gonna go the other direction, all right? No shot. That being said, I think Aokiji is one of the most formidable and competent admirals we have seen. The admirals right now, admittedly, they're in the mud, okay? They're in Caribou. But the dude flash froze a massive tidal wave in an instant, boats and all, no sweat. And for that, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna give him a 3.550 billion berry bounty, maybe even 3.6. I know some people are looking at it like, Mihawk? Well, the thing is with Aokiji, I wonder about his current status because he's working with Blackbeard. And if we factor in more things, the secrets that he could possibly know as a Navy Admiral, him working with Blackbeard, maybe being involved with the Poneglyphs if he is the man scarred by fire, it makes him very, very dangerous. And the guys, we're assigning bounties based on how strong and how dangerous we think people could be. And I think Kuzan, with the knowledge he has and him being a former admiral and also working with Blackbeard, it warrants a 3.6, don't you think? Or 3.5? Lower than Mihawk? Okay, let's go lower than Mihawk. Lastly, we have Magma Goat, Akainu. Now, we have seen Oda say that Akainu has the most destructive devil fruit power, and that if he were a pirate, he'd get the One Piece in record time. There's so many nuances there, and I know I'm taking it out of context to make my point, because he said one of the highest destructive powers in the verse, and he'd get the One Piece in a year if he were the main character, right? Those parts, we're gonna leave it out because who cares, right? But let's really break it down. We just went over how strong Aokiji is, and these two fought for like 10 days. And my first thing that I thought about was like, did they take breaks to pee and take a dump? Because that's where I would draw the line. Like, I'm done if I can't pee in peace. Either way, Aokiji lost a leg, and he's now covered in burn scars, right? He has a lot. It's given Dark Knight vibes. Victory has defeated you. Akainu walked away with a scar on his neck. Now, he may have more. I don't know. But okay, let's backtrack a little bit. I just referenced Bane, right? And Bane was not Dark Knight. Bane is The Dark Knight Rises. Obviously, I prefer Joker over Bane, but I do a better Bane than Joker because Joker is just like lip smacking. So what are you gonna... Okay, back to the topic at hand. Akainu and his scars, right? All he walked away with was a scar on his neck. Now, he may have more, I don't know, but he might have some Iron Man kind of magma heart under that shirt. But I promise you, Oda, we don't need to see Akainu shirtless. Actually, we do. We now know that Akainu was declared the victor, so I mean, that just kind of solidifies that he was able to overwhelm Aokiji. And we've seen Akainu shoot magma into the sky to have it drop like a swarm of meteors, create giant fists of magma, and create a giant magma hound. Again, we've seen the outcome of Punk Hazard. We know what this man can do to an island. I'd hate to think of what he could do to a fleet of ships. I mean, that's why Blackbeard ran away, right? Because of the ships. I mean, the guy is built to destroy. I don't know how else to say it, but he's currently seated as the fleet admiral. So he's the top one in the Marines. I'm sorry, but there's no way you're getting this dude's bounty without some kind of plot armor, unless you're Yonko with plot armor. That being said, I think he does lose to a couple of the Yonko, maybe just one of them right now, maybe two. But I think he definitely wields the power of a relatively large army. So I'm gonna give Akainu a sizable 4 billion berry bounty. But guys, give me your thoughts. If you had to assign bounties to the admirals, what bounty would you give them? Based on danger and just how much they impact the world, what do you think they deserve? But guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Thank you to my members. I appreciate you guys so much as well. We're gonna have a lot of fun. But again, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite